Hello everyone and welcome back guys to round 6 of the F1 2019 Haas Road to Glory career mode, where today we're here for the Monaco Grand Prix, the jewel in the Formula 1 crown. And obviously if you guys are new around here, make sure you do get yourself subscribed for daily F1 2019 and action on the channel. But yeah, obviously if you guys are new around here and you have missed out on the last video, go click the eye at the top right hand side of your screens. You'll be a link to last video and the whole playlist, obviously, if you guys do want to get yourself all caught up. But coming into this weekend, sadly, a development failure once again on the car. We have got one upgrade on and one upgrade that sadly has not come through for this weekend. But hopefully, as we move into Canada, we can try and get it sorted. Reliability on the upgrade so far has not been very strong this season, considering I think it's about a 25% chance of failure, and I think about 75% of the upgrades have failed so far. So yeah, we will have to be going for a replacement on the secondary front wing flap upgrade there, which is a little bit annoying, but hopefully, it's not too expensive, everything like that. And we will actually be going back to the old engine for this weekend as well, just obviously because it's not a power circuit, so we might as well. The only thing I'm a little bit worried about is that gearbox. Now, unfortunately, it hasn't quite made it through to the end of its its race distance just yet, so we are gonna have to, I don't want to take a penalty here at Monaco, so we are just gonna have to roll with it. And at the end of free practice, as you'd probably come to expect, a fairly simple session. Monaco is always a golden opportunity to just get some really easy R&D points. The game delta and everything like that, especially if you're on a wheel, is usually quite weak. So yeah, 300 points just underscored there, 356 overall. That means we should be able to get that front wing, the secondary flap upgrade, sorted nice and easily. But yeah, hopefully that, well, I'll be very surprised if it didn't then come through for next weekend now at the Canadian Grand Prix. So yeah, hopefully that upgrade will be sorted then. And we are making some slow but steady progress. This is the last video I'm recording as well before the day one patch. Supposedly this is when the the rebalance of the AI is going to come in, so we'll have to wait and see as to how we fare. But anyway, let's jump on then into the Monaco Grand Prix.
We're here at the magical Circuit de Monaco for one of the most challenging qualifying sessions on the Formula 1 calendar. Who can add their name to the illustrious list of Monte Carlo pole sitters here today?
So here we are then, ready for the Monaco Grand Prix qualifying session. Basically the most important thing about this weekend. I know I always say that there's no points in qualifying, but you're going to give yourself a good strong showing if you can get yourself up into the top 10 nice and tidy there. End of Q1, as you can see, we actually set a decent bank lap on a medium compound tyres, getting through into Q2. They're ahead of my teammate Romain Grosjean on the softs. And for those of you that sort of new around this channel, Monaco against the AI is probably my strongest track on the calendar. I did actually almost qualify for F1 Esports via this circuit way back on F1 at 2017. So yeah, if we're going to get a good opportunity to score points, it's here at Monaco. It was also, I think, our first podium and race victory in the Williams Road to Glory way back on F1 in 2018 as well. But in towards the final couple of corners of our second qualifying run, really trying to push the track limits to the absolute max. You've got to take all of the curb you possibly can through like the swimming pool section and everything like that. And down towards the line, it's going to be a 1 minute 11.3 there, splitting the Red Bulls in Q2. Really happy with that one, and not far off Lewis Hamilton at the top step as well as we come towards the end of the session there. You can see what was the gap, 2/10 between, well, 3/10 even, sorry, between the top 7 at the end of Q2 there. Sebastian Vettel and Charles Leclerc would improve right at the very end there. And as you can see, Sergio Perez, Raikkonen, Sainz, Grosjean all not making it through into Q3 there. So we got both Mercedes, both Ferraris, both Red Bulls, both Renaults, Lucas and myself there. So yeah, quite happy with that one, but obviously Q3 is where it all really does begin to matter, the final step, the final push. Hopefully, a couple of the AI can make some mistakes, and we'll see if we can move ourselves up the order. But coming on then into our Q3, that really pushing everything onto the line. Now, we do scrape the wall as we come in at to back there. Take a lot of curb on the exit of the swim pool chicane there into the final couple of corners there. Raskas and Anthony Nogues are being able to get the car nicely gripped up. A little bit of a huge moment actually on the exit of the corner, and that's going to cost us a little bit of time. And sadly, in the end, it's going to be in a 1 minute 11.5 P7 on the grid there. Not quite the qualifying result that I would have wanted in the end. Just a small
and with qualifying
mistake.
Complete, Let's review our top three today.
I don't
Hamilton,
think,
Mclaren,
looking at the
and
grid, we could
Sebastian
have
Vettel.
potentially got
With
close to
qualifying
Bottas and
wrapped up, we
Gasly,
now
but I
have our
don't
grid
think we
lineup
would
for
have
the big
really
race tomorrow.
probably been
Be
able
sure
to
to
do
join us
anything
then
anyway there
for what will no
in
doubt
qualifying.
be a
So it is
fantastic
P7 on the
race.
grid, then ready for the Monaco Grand Prix. I think that's my best qualifying session of the season so far. Happy with that. Let's move on then into the race.
A proper road race, and in the true meaning of the word. That was how Mr. Monaco, the late great Graham Hill, once described this iconic event. The cars we drive have come a long way in the intervening half-century, but still we race on those same public roads beside the Mediterranean Sea. There's no victory more coveted than that of the Monaco Grand Prix. The astonishing Circuit de Monaco is, for all intents and purposes, virtually unchanged since its inaugural race back in 1929. The faster cars of today, though, ensure the 19 corners past the casino and along the seafront remain as thrilling as ever. A 2.1-mile lap here takes us around an entire country, yet never more than inches from the race-ending barriers. And I'm joined once again by Anthony Davidson to bring you the lowdown for today's race. Why don't we discuss McLaren? They've had to retire a couple of times in the last few races. What can you tell us about the reliability of their car?
It's a good statistic for sure, as it demonstrates not only mechanical reliability, but consistency from both drivers as well. These are two of the first boxes you have to tick for any successful season.
Let's run you through the driver grid order for today's exciting race. Lewis Hamilton lines up on pole position with Charles Leclerc alongside. Looking at the rest of today's grid, we have Vettel, Verstappen, Pierre Gasly and Bottas, Mr. Monaco, Weber, Butler and Daniel Ricciardo, Perez, Raikkonen, Carlos Sainz and Grosjean, Norris, Kvyat, Antonio Giovinazzi and Alexander Albon. Russell and Robert Kubica takes the last spot on the grid. And with lights out just moments away, it's time to go down to the track.
So here we are then, ready to take on the streets of Monaco. 39 laps ahead of us. Really, really excited for this one. Like I said, a golden opportunity to score big points in this series. Yeah, hopefully we can have a good, solid showing today. Hopefully you guys are hyped for this as well. I'm sure really excited for this race. And having a look at the strategy, I did want to try and take the hards right the way through to the end. As everyone knows, track position is key around the Monaco Grand Prix. So we're going to try and go on from the softs straight over to the hards around lap 8. And then just try to take them through right the way to the end of this Grand Prix. How that'll pan out, we'll have to wait and see. But here we are then on the grid, ready for the Monaco Grand Prix. It's round 6 of the season. Hopefully, yeah, we can get a good, solid start. The AI very, very strong, but it is 5 lights here then at Monaco, and it is lights out, and away we go there. Actually, after originally quite a decent start, though, we're not going to get too much hassle from Weber as we come in towards the turn one. We actually send it up the inside of Bottas, but just like he did to Max Verstappen in the real-life Grand Prix, swings it back around the outside, and unfortunately, we have to slot in to P7 of the start there. And as everyone, I'm sure, is aware, heading into the Monaco Grand Prix, the key is consistency. Build up that pace nice and early on in the session, and yeah, just as soon as you can get into a rhythm, build up some momentum, you are set, hopefully, for a good Monaco Grand Prix. Through the lows head we go for the first time. You can see just a little bit of Constantino and up there. Hamilton leads the way, and I think he's going to be able to build himself up a nice little margin through this opening lap of the Grand Prix here as we come out in towards the tunnel section for the first time. And like I said, Monaco is all about just building up that momentum. We were trying to hang on to the coattails of Bottas and Pierre Gasly, but just the lack of pace in this Haas car, sadly. You know, although the pace was still decent, just, you know, there's such a big delta to the top guys here as we come towards the end of lap 3. You can see we're starting to lose touch just a little bit there, 7 tenths back now as we get a huge moment as we come into La Rascasse on lap 3 of 39. And yeah, just, you know, we were matching them there or thereabouts. We can just see down the straights, they just absolutely run away in the early stages of this race, and it's going to be difficult to try and match their pace for too long. See, almost make a mistake, skim the wall as we go through someone that were lucky to come out of that with no damage on the car. And yeah, just Bottas, that was an open door, sadly. Just that small mistake, you upset your rhythm, and you've got to try and just gear it back up over the next couple of laps as well. And yeah, Bottas just able to take that opportunity and pull out a good couple of seconds there. And onto that 5 we go, really now starting to struggle actually with rear tyre temps. As you can see, Weber is potentially going to be able to get a bit of a run here. He's going to dive it up the inside in towards the chicane there. He's going to hit the wall and bounce back into me there. We're going to get a warning for corner cut, but not too much. We really could have done there. A big mistake by Weber, and unfortunately that has given myself front wing damage here, and that was not what we needed in the early stages of this race. We are now going to have to dive in to the pit lane on the end of this lap there, and that was not what I needed as we come in towards the final couple of corners there, struggling to get the car rotated as we try to work out the strategy there and do dive it into the pit lane very early in this race, and not really what I had wanted off the start of the Monaco Grand Prix. Are we going to be able to get a nice tidy pit stop? It's certainly going to be a long hold here at this stage, and this is not what we need there, and unfortunately it's going to be a horrendous pit stop once again there. Unfortunately, yeah, just still struggling with it at the moment, and as we come towards the end of the pit lane, they are going to rejoin right the way back in last place here, but we have got some free clear air just in front of me. The Williams are a long way up the road, but you can see already just how far back they are from everyone else at this stage of the day. They're not ideal, and hopefully it can take, hopefully not too long before we can try and close it to the rear of the Williams cars out. But skipping on a couple of laps later than the first couple of pit stops would now be starting to be made there. Daniel Ricciardo dives it into the pit lane, rejoins right there in front of me, but we are going to be able to get the run in towards turn 1. They're hooking up around the outside of the Renault man. Yeah, we're going to hold on now up into P19 of this race as we come towards the top of the hill here. Just like I said, trying to build up that momentum once again. For some reason, we're on the medium compact tyres, and I actually didn't notice that at the time, but yeah, unfortunately the strategy that we had planned unfortunately had to be changed back to the 2-stop again. Didn't reckon I could go for it, sadly. Just Monaco isn't the ideal place to be trying to change your strategy on the fly, especially when, you know, you're trying to drive around the circuit and everything like that, especially with just half a lap. Unfortunately, yeah, we were set to struggle just a little bit there, but we were now all over the back of Robert Kubica, and just look how slow the Williams is as we go through the chicane. You can see we dive it up the inside into the back. He tries to turn in, he probably should bail out, but we now move ourselves up into P17. A very robust move is probably the best way to describe it, that one there, but we do now move ourselves back up into P9 of this Grand Prix, almost run actually into the wall as we come in towards Larascas once again there, and now onto lap 10, all over the back of George Russell. Are we going to be able to get any sort of run? That Mercedes power unit still probably going to come in handy down the back straightaway here, and in towards the chicane. We're actually going to go for the dive there, and this is honestly, I reckon, right up there as one of my best ever overtakes on F120. Well, any F1 game, to be honest there. That was so close to myself, George, and the wall there, but we do make it work, and now we move ourselves up into P15 once again of this Grand Prix. Hopefully not going to spend all race long having a look at the gearbox of those Williams cars, but yeah, now up into some clear air once more there. I think, yeah, we'll just try and slowly build up this advantage as we head on to the next couple of laps. And lap 11 now we go, and you can see just trying to stay now all over the rear of Pierre Gasly here in this Grand Prix. Gasly in the Red Bull car, struggling a little bit at the moment, just in that little bit of dirty air, and hopefully, yeah, we can try and get potentially past him, potentially just try and follow him through on a couple of moves instead here as we come through Casino Square once again here, and you can see just losing the back end ever so slightly, trying to get into a rhythm, trying to build up the momentum here. And in the dirty air, the AI tend to take some very strange lines. I could have thought about sending it up the inside at the hairpin there, but thought better on it, just be a little bit too, you know, too messy, too tangled at this stage of the day. Portier, that is another place where you can really sort of think about trying to go for a move as well. But Gasly's got some decent pace. Hopefully he can try and hassle Alexander Albon in front of him. You know, if this was real life, he'd probably be getting told to get out of the way for Pierre Gasly there, but we've clipped the wall as we come into the chicane, and George Russell's going to come in and clip the wall behind me as well. I couldn't believe that. George Russell had a bit of a panic moment there when he saw the Haas car in front of him, and yeah, clipped the wall as well. The VSC has been deployed, and that was not what we needed here at this stage of the day there as we come in towards the final couple of corners of lap 12 there. And yeah, a little bit of a blunder by myself, but you know, with the Delta we shouldn't have lost out too much time. We're definitely going to have lost out quite a bit though, and now onto lap 14 we go. The race was about to take a bit of a turn for the worse here, if I'm not mistaken, as we come in towards the final couple of corners of the lap here, just trying to get the car slowed down. And have a look at the gears there, we almost run it into the wall, and this was when I realised, unfortunately, we had lost second gear here, and unfortunately around Monaco, second gear, quite useful. Genuinely, you might want to lose 7th or 8th around Monaco. Second gear, though, a bit more useful. A couple of corners around this place where, yeah, you do want to be using second gear there as we come up towards the top of the hill. And once again, you can see just trying to get the car slowed down. And yeah, I had sort of clocked now what was going on here, and just through a couple of corners, you can see. And this is a critical second gear corner there, and you can see we're having to... we've got it back again. Okay, not too sure about that. It was clearly just a temporary issue then on the car. Luckily, yeah, not too long lasting with that one. But yeah, it wouldn't take too long again before we were all over the back of Gasly this time round. He was trying to apply the pressure to Danny Kvyat here as we come on the run towards turn 1 here. And Gasly's going to be able to get the run, maybe? No, not quite close enough this time round there as we pitch the front tyres going through turn 1 here. But yeah, hopefully Gasly can try to potentially line up a move very, very soon. Now, lap 17, 1 lap later, and this time round he's going to be able to get the run there. He muscles Kvyat to the inside, gets around the outside, and we're going to try and follow him through. A little bit cheeky on round the outside there, but it will come to the inside as we reach the top of the hill there. And, well, Kvyat, we hang him out to dry through the corner, and that is us now up into P8 of this race. And potentially this is a bit of a strategy we could go with. You know, Max Verstappen, in a bit of different circumstances, made this famous a couple of years back, just, you know, staying in the blue flags of, I think it was Sebastian Vettel in that Grand Prix. And a couple of laps later, though, we're going to try and put this to the test. Gasly to the outside of Giovinazzi as we come in towards turn 1 there, and once again just going to be able to get the better run and follow him right around the outside as we go up the hill. Giovinazzi tries to get a bit of a better run towards the top of the hill there, but we hang him out to dry there. A bit of a back end moment as we come in towards Casino Square there. That could have almost been a bit of carnage, and just look at the gears once again. This time round we've lost 5th, and I've no idea why this is all happening. I know I said at the start of this race the gearbox was looking pretty worn out as we come into this race, but yeah, 2 gears we've lost now in this Monaco Grand Prix. Luckily the first time around the gear did come back, but hopefully again you can see just going straight from 3rd to 5th there, and is now on to the end of lap 22. We dive into the pit lane, actually picking up a 5-second time penalty there. Not too sure how we ended up with that one here, but yeah, we do desperately need to try and get this 5th gear back. I think going through the pit lane they did a bit of a reset on the car, and you know, this has happened a couple of times I think now. Back on F1 2018, you just lose a gear for a couple of laps here, and it's really, really not ideal though to get a warning for crossing the pit lane exit line as well there as we come out. We get a 3-second time penalty for corner cutting. That bug definitely needs to be fixed on F1 2019. You know, if you accidentally run wide on the exit of the pit lane there, you can't actually then take the pit lane exit as we come towards the top of Casino Square once again. And what is going on with the car here, as you can see coming down the hill, and it's just not doing anything. It's all gone wrong. The gearbox, I'll be honest, it has just completely gone now at this stage of the race. It's, you know, selecting the wrong gear. It's going up when we're trying to go down. It's, look at that on the exit of the corner there, and it's just not changing up either. And this is not what we need in the Monaco Grand Prix here. This is basically undrivable here. Giovinazzi gets down the inside, and it's just not changing back down anywhere when we need it to here. This is heartbreak here in Monaco as we come in towards Tabat there, and just you can't drive like this. You don't know what the car's going to do next into the next couple of corners. And I was also really worried about putting unnecessary damage on the rest of the engine. You can see the gearbox has reached 90%. They're not even able to get back down to lower than at 3rd gear as we come in towards the final couple of corners of that lap there. And we were trying to short shift just to try and get it up at the right time, but there was just nothing we could do about this here at the Monaco Grand Prix. The heartbreak here as we just got past the halfway point, and we were looking good. We were looking solid for, you know, sort of a good 6th, 7th place here at this stage of the day, but there's just nothing we can do. We can't try to survive another 15 laps on this there as the car changes down, almost puts me in the wall, and yeah, that was it. We had to retire the car. There was no way we were going to try and put any unnecessary strain on the car, on the engine, and that is gutting to finish the Monaco Grand Prix early. And it wasn't even, you know, a crash by myself. The car has unfortunately let me down. The first time I've had sort of a proper failure like that, I think since F1 2017, if I'm not mistaken. They're very rare, and yeah, gutted with that one. Yeah, unfortunately, that is us out of the Monaco Grand Prix. Not the way I would have wanted to end it. And yeah, so disappointed with that one. It was going to be solid points, and sadly, it's been taken away from us.
Here's our winner, pulling their Ferrari into Parc Ferme. What a fantastic race it was. Anthony Davidson, how do you think they were able to set themselves apart today?
I feel like consistency was probably the key today. There's being quick, and then there's being quick lap after lap after lap. If you can do that, you can capitalise on other people's errors without making many of your own. And that's an approach that can push you a long way up the field.
Here come our winners now. A thrilling race and a tremendous effort by Ferrari. Their history is well known, so it's no surprise to fans the world over to see them come out on top once again. And now let's take a look at the drivers' standings. With that brilliant result, Sebastian Vettel secures top spot in the Drivers' Championship. After an incredible day of racing, who was your driver of the day, Ant?
It's got to be Lando Norris, hasn't it? Smooth, confident and assured. I've got no doubt that he and his team are going to be over the moon with his performance today.
It's time to check out the constructors' standings. Ferrari continue to extend the gap at the top of the table. Another team that will be satisfied with this Grand Prix is Alfa Romeo, whose good result moves them further up the championship. And with that, we wrap up another weekend of motorsport. But with more races lined up, be sure to join us when we come back with more Formula One.
So anyway, there we are then, the end of the Monaco Grand Prix. Sebastian Vettel heads over Ferrari 1-2 ahead of Charles Leclerc. Bottas, Verstappen, Gasly, Perez, Raikkonen, Norris and Grosjean, as well as Daniel Ricciardo, do all score points there. Sainz, Butler, Vibar, Giovinazzi, Kvyat, Albon, Russell, Kubica all make it through to the end, and only myself and Lewis Hamilton don't make it through to the end of the Grand Prix there. In terms of the Drivers' World Championship, Seb reclaims the lead there. Hamilton and Leclerc tied for P2, 13 points back there. Pierre Gasly jumps myself now back up, so we are still technically best of the rest, and Gasly jumps himself back up to where he should be. Still 1 point clear of Vibar there. Raikkonen jumps Grosjean, Norris jumps Ricciardo, and Gio jumps Danny Kvyat towards the rear of the field. No changes, if I'm not mistaken, in the Constructors' Championship. No, Alfa Romeo are now tied with McLaren there. But there we are then, guys. That is the end of the Monaco Grand Prix. Like I said, gutted that we couldn't make it through to the end. We also don't even get a highlights package because of that as well. But yeah, that'll do us for this one. Hopefully you guys will come back tomorrow for the Canadian Grand Prix, where hopefully we can get some redemption.